Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, you know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
With that being said, let me just get in here and ask you, with some of the latest news that has popped around the HBCU sporting landscape, what has hit you the most and for what reason?
Well, the movement that we've seen within the coaching ranks just this past week, I mean, that was a seismic shift when you talk about North Carolina A&T moving in a different direction from Sam Washington. We know with the player movement, with the transfer portal, some of our favorite players that were on some of our favorite teams, they will be on the move in terms of trying to find a different team. So I think that's always an interesting storyline, guys that you sort of rooted for with your particular alma mater or your particular school, the fact that they could be moving on somewhere else. So it kind of changes the dynamic from year to year in terms of what a team will look like. Very true. With that being said, just about here in terms of the scene and the Celebration Bowl. Oh, yeah. Tremendous. When you talk about some of the things Celebration Bowl has done to roll out the red carpet for both teams, you're talking about an event, a meet and greet, if you will, at the Coca-Cola Museum. You had the banquet last night at the College Football Hall of Fame. Just all the amenities that go along with a bowl game. You and I, we took part in the grooming salon that they had downstairs. I might go back. Looking clean. Might go back again today just because it's there. Exactly. You're already exactly. But it's been a first-class bowl experience. I think both teams will testify to it, and it has been a tremendous bowl experience for the fans alike. That's a good point. What is fascinating me about that is just seeing everybody connected. And obviously this is a game that's played between MEAC and SWAC, but it is a bigger scale in terms of the HBCUs. You actually see the Divine Nine, the presidents and member of their leadership cabinet around here and things of that nature, of what that looks like in terms of them getting their space. You see like the SIAC commissioner. So you see the commissioners from the other programs, other conferences, HBCU conferences, I should say, as I like to break it down. And you also see fans of different institutions at all levels, all gamuts of what I call the sporting HBCU diaspora. So it's fascinating when you see what that looks like, all the people connecting, and it just extends that lens. So it's fascinating to see when that takes place and how it goes around. And so those are things that really get me excited about this. The networking and news and what you hear. And some of the things, obviously, we'd like to share to our listeners, and some of them we can't share maybe immediately, but we do tend to share it as much as possible. So that's fascinating in terms of what that looks like going on. When we start to get into some of these interviews, it's going to be fascinating also to see the different cadre of folks that get in front of us and tell a story. You start finding these intriguing connections that you don't know, whether they have somebody that's associated with the HBCU or their parents, child, brother and sister may have went to HBCU. And some folks you'll find out went to HBCUs and you won't even realize. That's very much the case, Right. And you're like, huh? Really? Like, wow. I didn't make that connection. Exactly. Well, I didn't read that. Exactly. So that's always fascinating in terms of what that looks like. But what are some other things for you that comes out of this that just kind of throws you back, even though you've been in the mix for years, but when it happens, you're still like,
Yeah, I'm a fan to some degree.
Yeah, I think to some degree. I mean, there's a camaraderie among the fans from various SWAC schools, MEAC schools, getting an opportunity to meet some media around the conference, media as well as in the MEAC as well. But there have been celebrities kind of walking through the hotel, and you just it kind of catches your eye from time to time that it takes your media hat off, and all of a sudden you're a fan just like that. So it's a real easy flip to happen. I had a tremendous thrill yesterday meeting Sports Center's L. Duncan. And she was here with regards to an initiative that they had in terms of gathering diapers for women around the Atlanta area. So they were set up in front of the hotel yesterday. So it was fascinating to kind of get that insight with regards to what they were doing. So enjoyed that quite a bit as we get set up here for our first guest here.
Yeah, first guest. Mm-hmm. Fascinating as you make the rounds.
How are you doing?
This is Dr. Cavil's inside the HBCU Sports. Yeah, we'll get right in there and get them set up. Go ahead and grab the mic, and which can get you going as we get into this interview. This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab. This is Charles Bishop. It's a pleasure to meet you. Diversity in aquatics, so it seems straightforward of what you all are about and why that's important. And then we have just a fascinating dialogue and see where it's going. So let's just start properly and introduce yourself, and we'll start with the lady.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Miriam Lynch, and I serve as the executive director of this awesome organization, Diversity in Aquatics. But I also am a K-12 admin, as well as a volunteer assistant coach at Howard University.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations. I like to hear that. And yourself?
My name is Cullen Jones, two-time Olympian, four-time medalist, and first Black American to hold the world record. I also sit on the board for Diversity in Aquatics and work for Dr. Lynch. I like saying that. I like saying that I work for you. That's good.
So Cullen, I have to admit, I was part of a triathlon group, and we followed your career. So it was always kind of looking at your swimming technique and things of that nature. So we were trying to ball, little things that we could do with regards to just trying to get faster in the water. So really appreciate all of your worked out. We didn't become Olympians, but we finished the race.
There you go. That's it.
Exactly.
Congratulations to both of you all. Obviously, that's this. We were just talking about earlier. This is the fun part of this. Is you meet folks that you've watched from afar, you've read their background, and excited about what you all were able to accomplish. But in life, you start to move forward. So let's kind of talk about that story, right? And why this and why now?
It's why not, right? Because there's a rich history of HBCUs in aquatics.
Absolutely.
And we want to celebrate it. As a graduate of Howard University, I saw during my tenure there, going from there were 3 teams in our program down to now there's only 1. And and then doing more research, we found out that there were over 21 in the 1980s that had swimming programs. You have Hampton, you have Tennessee State, you have Texas Southern,
that's right,
and more who had rich legacy of aquatic history. Morehouse, from 1948 to 1954, were champions of their division. And then you learn about the people who graduate from the programs. Atlanta's own Andrew Young is a graduate of Howard University. Guess what? He was on the swim and dive team.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so you have this rich history, but nobody's talking about it. It's not more dominant in our industry, aquatic industry, because much of what we hear is the disparate facts, right? But what we wanted to do as a part of Diversity in Aquatics was to say, yes, we know where we are with the facts, but we want to celebrate the legacy that we have in this environment, right? And so that's why I say, why not? Here at Morehouse, we have an opportunity to showcase, not only to celebrate Morehouse's legacy, but to celebrate all HBCU aquatic legacy. And then also do great work in the community to say, hey, guess what? You can participate and also join in and learn water safety, learn about different aquatic sports like triathlon, scuba, rowing, water polo, and more. Because we know it all starts with water safety education and learning to swim. And so that was our purpose when doing this program and getting it started.
Wow.
I have a 3-year-old son, and as soon
So
as
do
we could,
you look
well, he's 8 years old.
Okay.
But I was saying we jumped him in the water at 3 and started that process. So I wanted to ask you that same question in terms of that, especially now that you have a 3-year-old son. I can see why you're excited, and you got a little bit of style about yourself.
I
too.
try.
But
Be a swag. Gotta throw the swag in there. I'm the only black swimmer on the team. There's swag in there.
I love that. With that being said, tell us your why now.
You know, for me, Dr. Lynch has said that perfectly. From my story, you know, I nearly drowned at the age of 5 growing up in Jersey, New York area.
Wow.
And I was at an amusement park fully, you know, watched by lifeguards and my parents, and I was still able to go underwater. My mom said, never again, we're going to get you into swim lessons. Now, they instilled in me that work ethic of like, you hit a goal, you keep going. You hit a goal, you keep going. And those baby steps now led me to the Olympics.
Look at that.
One of the things that I grew up in the Baptist faith is it took a village. My dad passed when I was 16, and the men of the church got me to where I am today to show me what leadership really looks like. And so I've been doing this for 13 years of trying to get kids to learn to swim and adults to learn to swim. So, you know, I wasn't able to go to an HBCU. I didn't go to an HBCU, but I really, truly believe in the culture that for us to change these drowning statistics, nearly 5 times more likely than any other race to drown in the U.S., it starts with changing our narrative that this is something we don't do.
Oh, I want.
I saw you.
Yeah, because I was curious about the process of trying to change the narrative because, like you mentioned, a lot of times we start our children off really early with regards to swimming, but a lot of times you will see that I don't know what happens, but there's a disconnect. Whereas African Americans, I don't want to call it a fear of the pool or whatever the case might be, but something happens where there's a disconnect, and I'm curious, you know, how do you go about the process of trying to change the narrative of enjoying swim, enjoying the water sports, enjoying all of it?
Mind if I take this one?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I remember in 2008, a gentleman by the name of Bruce Weigel, who's in charge of the International Hall of Fame for swimming. I went down there and he started showing me these books of back in 400 years ago, slaves swimming. It was beaten out of us not to swim because we would rather swim to death than to stay here and work. And so that is a 400 plus year lesson that we are still telling ourselves today. We don't swim. This is not for us. This is not what we do. What a lot of people don't recognize is that right before the civil rights movement, there's an iconic picture of a pool manager throwing acid in the water because the thought of black people in the pool was dirty.
Yeah.
That was one of the triggers of the civil rights movement. Most people don't know that. Swimming is a part of our history. And then you've got people like that go on the news or in radio that say, you know, black people don't swim because they have bone density. I got 4 medals. I can't float to save my life because muscle doesn't float. That has nothing to do with it. What changes it is swim lessons. Now, we know the 3 major things. The science is there. Diversity in aquatics is big into 2 things. Well, 3 things, really, but the focus is science, bringing in the science of understanding and knowledge, but also to educate people that this is a life-saving skill. It is not just a great sport, which will help you travel around the world, and, you know, it's not just a lot of fun. It's a life skill. Learn to walk, learn to talk, learn to swim. Because when it comes to our people, what we've noticed is just 3 things. Fear is number 1, overarching. 2 is parental backing. When parents don't know how to swim, they don't teach the kids. There is a 13% chance that child will learn how to swim if their parents don't know how to swim. 13%. And then, of course, and I'm going to hit it, the 3rd one, physical appearance. When it comes to ladies and their hair, I get it. My mom spends a lot of money on her hair. She touches water, boop, gone. I get it.
That's real. Yeah.
It's real. It's a real problem. What I say to the ladies is, Put your hair in braids, learn to swim. Once you learn to swim, it's like riding a bike. You never forget to learn. You never forget how to swim. And then from the guy's side, it's physical appearance when it comes to wearing suits. Let me tell you something. Gentlemen, under the voice that's listening to me right now, you come in there with that six-pack, there ain't no problem about masculinity, okay? Whether you are in a Speedo or not. Just go in there and learn to swim.
I didn't wear a Speedo, but I put a singlet on. I felt comfortable then.
Right. And there's
Well said. Jump in there.
Right. There's more resources out there. Like, I think the movement that has happened in social media that wasn't there when I first learned how to swim towards what is being shared and what is being celebrated. I think that is the change in what we are trying to do is change that narrative, is celebrating aquatics to show joy
Making it cool.
of aquatics, right? Because that's what we experienced growing up in this sport. And then the others around us and our councils and even our board, all of us share a different lens of how we come to water and how we've enjoyed the water. And that's what this weekend's about, is showing the enjoyment, our love, and our love for each other through the connection of water. And so that's what we're doing with our Water Safety Festival, which is happening today from 2 to 5 at Morehouse at the Archer Recreation Center. But also on Saturday, actually, we have a number of HBCUs. I think I know. It is the largest representation of HBCUs since the 1980s.
Wow.
Okay? Wow. We have people coming from afar, like Minnesota, that are coming from there just to represent their HBCU. Like, I went to Spelman. I want to represent. I swim. I'm coming down to swim in the MEAC. I went to Florida A&M. I'm coming from Chicago, so I can represent Florida A&M. Or coming from D.C. and representing Howard. So, I got to shout out my Howard.
Of course.
That's what Howard.
But that's what we're doing, right? And so we're celebrating and we're showing the camps. Okay. We're showing that we're not just in the forward part is, yes, the statistics are real, but we're showing that change in the narrative of who is into that space. Sure. And I think that's what's so special about what we've been able to do, and our partners as well as are part of that, such as USA Swimming or American Red Cross, that are helping us to make that change.
And I don't want to hear it. You don't have to swim or know to swim to come. That's the most important thing. There is in-water and out-of-water activation, so just come on out, learn. We just trying to start the fire. We're trying to get people to understand the importance, so just come on out.
Yes. I want to take you back one part, and then I'll have a final question for you as well. Just for those that may have not, how was your experience getting in the water and then that translating to the point that you were Olympian? And then chasing a medal.
Chasing a medal.
When it all came down and you were on the stands, what went through your mind at that point?
I can't imagine a caloric intake. I'm blown away by that.
I mean, I think that if I didn't have kind of blinders on, I probably would have. One of my favorite Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord and He'll direct your path, is one of the biggest things. My path was narrow. Like, if anything, if I start thinking about my life, I could have fallen off at any point. Growing up in the hood, going to North Carolina, going to the South for school. My dad passing at 16. There's so many different things that could have deterred me from what I was doing. But I think the biggest thing was that mantra that my parents set me on was, you hit a goal. Okay, you hit that goal, now what's the next one? And so when I always had something that I was looking towards, and I think that's what kept me going. What did I deal with? Quite a bit of racism? Absolutely. I had, a parent in front of my mom say, shouldn't you be playing basketball? And it was because I won. Wow. And I beat her son. And it was okay when I was getting that 6th and 7th place, that pink and purple ribbon, and get the blue one. They're like, well, wait a minute, man.
This is a problem.
Yeah.
You don't know your place.
Yeah.
Actually, my place is up here on first. So, and my dad, before he passed, he's like, don't you ever let anyone stop you. You know what I mean? That just lit the fire.
That's powerful.
And I grew up watching Jordan. That was it. So there were a lot of things that could have deterred me, but I think I had a strong foundation with my parents, and I just wanted to win.
Good. Yeah, we needed to hear that story and have that on the table. So I wanted to ask that. But back to the program that you all are championing. You champion it with your heart and your passion. You can hear that clearly. Obviously, the work that goes in here, the muscle that you had to do, the time and energy that you put in there. It's my understanding there's also a financial piece that you all are doing to support in this initiative. Can you talk a little bit about that type of support and grants, I believe, that you're able to put out and explain a little bit about how you're also putting financial capital into making this work?
Right, we're putting money
Mouth for
right?
your money.
Yeah, absolutely that. And I credit USA Swimming for saying not only during the time period with the civil unrest is that we are going to now make sure that we have financial support in it. And what we said was that HBCUs sit at the center point of communities. And so with that, the $1 million grant from USA Swimming is what is supplying a number of resources to up to count right now 9 HBCUs who are grantees. We're getting ready for the second wave of grants coming through that HBCUs can apply for to even further that initiative. Because we know that starts the foundation of providing resources. And then for us at Diversity in Aquatics, we sit at that center point to provide mentorship, to provide other resources from our other partners, such as American Red Cross, who are providing certificate programs so that we have more lifeguards, so that the funding to have a Learn to Swim class or to have a swim team or a dive team or a water polo team, you have the safety part as well. You've got the lifeguards, you've got the water safety instructors, and more. In addition from that, it's also a way for our HBCUs to be able to even further work on within the pool structure. So being able to say, hey, you know what, we want to help build or repair or be able to expand. That is providing that resource.
That was actually a quick question I was going to ask in terms of changing the narrative. Have you found that access to swimming pools, has that been a bit of a challenge, or where are we with regards to just access to pools? Because I was fortunate. I had a YMCA that was within my subdivision, and I could, there was nothing to go to that YMCA. But just in terms of the structure, getting to pools.
Yeah, and that's why we're working with the initiative of HBCUs, right? We know that, I'll give you a story of where we were in one program we started in May. It was at Texas Southern, and Texas, during the pandemic, closed all their summer pools in and around that ward. And so there was no access. And usually that first access into swimming is summer swimming. Okay? You're having fun, it's hot outside, and where are we going to go? To the pool. And the pool has those resources. Well, we found out that because of the COVID, it closed the pools. And so, but Texas Southern sits at a center point of the pool system. And so what we did is worked really hard with Texas Southern, with USA Swimming, and to say, how can we reactivate swimming at this pool? And so that is part of that initiative, and to creating that access and resource to swimming in communities around. Because there's over 100 HBCUs across the country. And through research that we've done, we also do research on our side for Diversity in Aquatics. We have we're on our third special journal doing research, and one of them was an HBCU study. And we sent out a survey to different HBCUs throughout the country, over 100 of them. And we got back a response that there's 35 that have a pool that is functioning. Right? So when you talk about, wow, we have a pool, but not all of them are being utilized.
That's correct.
Right? And so for us...
And even if they are utilized, they're certainly not maximized to what you can.
Absolutely. And so that's what our part of that initiative is. How do we reactivate them? Because they can serve what we call, and what we've coined in Diversity Aquatics, aquatic deserts.
Wow.
Perfectly coined.
And so that And with Texas Southern, what they are able to do, they're providing the lifeguard program for the city so that they can reopen pools this summer and start that life cycle over again.
Awesome.
We're out of Houston. I'm actually a professor, associate dean at Texas Southern University. He's an adjunct professor at Texas Southern. So anytime you come back that way, connect, please look me up, and I'll do whatever I can on my side to support and make sure they understand the importance of it. So the tremendous work that you're doing.
Thank you so very much.
Great. So we thank you picking up the mantle and continue to push forward, and it's extremely important. And happy that we got a chance to speak to you with you. This is Dr. Miriam Lynch, and obviously Cullen Jones as well, Olympian champion, getting it done and continuing to move forward with diversity in aquatics, setting the pace in a lot of ways, I would like to say. Continue the great work, and we applaud you.
Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you to you two for this opportunity to spread the word in this light and continue our narrative. Moments like this helps us to further the message about water safety.
And we'll do this. We do a show regular Tuesday and Thursday all year long. We really don't take breaks. And so as you continue to travel and update, we'd like to make sure that we stay engaged, to continue to tell the story and make sure we get that narrative out there. And I'm sure you're going to have many updates and great stories about how you're overcoming and moving forward. So we'd like to continue this. So we don't want this to be a one-time kind of stop. We would continue to tell this story over a period of time. So anytime, please look us up, and we'll make sure that we give you that space whenever necessary.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
well.
Thank you.
That'll do it at this first break. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU as we transition and allow them to go talk to some other folks to make sure they continue these great stories and things of that nature. But I hope you enjoyed that interview. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports. We'll be right back after this quick break, and we'll continue to do what we do here in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Omni at the 2022 Celebration Bowl. It is a great week of festivities.
In business, criminal justice, psychology, and religion. Stillman also offers technology badges in cybersecurity and data analytics. You can participate in all student activities, fraternities and sororities, internships, graduation ceremonies, and much more. Apply for admission today at stillman.edu. Stillman College, where we prepare you for a different world.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU.
At CDW, we get speed as the new currency of success.
Our team spends way too much time tending to outdated applications and software when they should be focused on driving application agility and innovation.
CDW Amplify Development Services modernizes software and application development to help accelerate innovation and digital transformation.
So you mean building new applications, UI, and mobile interfaces?
Well, you said you needed to innovate more quickly.
Oh, so he's a listener.
To do more at scale, trust CDW Amplify Development Services.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
Time to call a credit repair company to fix my credit.
Hold the phone, man. You can do it yourself with Credit Versio.
That's way too hard. Call the credit repair company. Most credit repair companies only work on 1 or 2 accounts at a time, making it slow and expensive. You won't figure that out for months. Ignore him. Credit Versio's brilliant software scans all 3 credit bureaus, finds the accounts that are hurting your score, and guides you through the entire process. Anyone can do it. Let's fast forward and see the results. Wow, I fixed my own credit and saved hundreds. You can do this. Visit creditversio.com.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food? Like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
Majesty is a premium health and wellness tea line focused on bringing delicious yet healthy tea blends to the community.
Filled with an abundance of vitamins and antioxidants, we work to blend teas with exotic spices and fruits to produce scrumptious and wholesome beverages. So check us out at mymajesties.com. That's MyMajesties.com. My Majesties, an Urban Passport member.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
You see, Head & Shoulders has scalp shield technology, protects against flakes even between washes. It's never not working.
Kind of like us. We're never not working. Number 15?
That's my rub.
Ooh, nice.
Never not working.
Never, ever, never, ever not working.
Welcome, everybody, to Juneau, Alaska.
I don't like this one.
Me neither.
Let's get out of here.
Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders scalp shield technology.
There's a shot.
That
Right.
might be.
It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you, guys, for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us. Thank you.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, yeah, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, yes sir.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab here at the Omni in Atlanta for the 2022 Cricket Wireless Celebration Bowl. And this is a great pleasure for me because we literally have I don't know where to start, but I'm just going to start it like this. We have an HBCU legend.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you feel about that terminology, but I guess we'll put it on the table and just ask you to start right there.
Hey, I always believe that, and I taught all my teams. It's one of the first things I said to my teams every year when we bring a new group in is that it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the football program and the football team.
There it is.
And here's the thing. They were playing football before you got there. They were playing football before they would be playing football after you leave here.
That's right.
They would be playing football after I leave here. So in the big scope of things, I'm not that important. And here's where this thing all came into play for me. I guess my third year at North Carolina Central, we won a championship, a national championship. And, we went from rag to riches. And one day I was sitting in the office and my secretary came in, man. You remember Sports Illustrated, right?
Yes.
My secretary came in and said, Sports Illustrated's on the line. Man, I struck my chest, I threw my head back, and I said, Sports Illustrated. I said, put them on, send them through. So this call came through. I said, this is Coach Broadway. They said, Coach Broadway. I said, your subscription is about to expire. So it ain't that important now.
Man, not only a great coach, but a great storyteller. Let's talk a little bit about that before I let Charles jump in and follow up some questions. You were in football coaching in a lot of spaces, what I refer to as historic white colleges, and then you transitioned and got your opportunity, North Carolina Central, in the HBCU space, and you continued that for a number of years, 15-some years, right? where you go from North Carolina Central, at that time Division II, won a championship there, defeating one in the culmination of the season is coming into the SWAC at Southern University, FCS program, obviously playing up, if you would, and getting that victory and finishing out that season in fine fashion. Then you go to Grambling, win championship there, and you close it out at North Carolina A&T. The celebration comes on the stage, and you do what you do there with the undefeated season, which was magical to watch take place. I say all that to say we kind of talked about off mic. If you would kind of share, if you would, some of that, the difference of your time prior to coming to HBCUs and why you see HBCUs so important.
Well, as we were saying earlier, I'm one of the lucky ones. And I had an opportunity to be on both sides of the wall.
Yes, sir.
And I value both sides, but spent 24 years at Division I coaching, and I played at White University, so I spent 24 years coaching there. And then I spent the last part of my career at HBCU. And I'm telling you, hands down,
wow,
my experience at the HBCU, I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. It's a beautiful experience. And the reason being is it's a business, but it's not that big of a business, you know. And the thing I said about college football, and I've always said, it's a great game, but it's a bad business, you know, really bad business. You know, and that's the part that we had a chance to really be influential in kids' lives, you know, at HBCUs, whereas Florida, at North Carolina, you're basically a number. You know, it's next up. You know, and we had an opportunity to really change those things and really emphasize education. You know, I guess when I came along growing up, one of the things my mom always told me, education was the most important thing. You know, and people used to say, "Well, get you something to fall back on." But my mama told us, "Get you something to spring forward from."
That's
a distinct difference between them.
That is.
It was important for us to go to school and get an education, and by doing that, you know, I wanted all my guys to go to school and get an education. And being at HBCU, I had some influence and directing guys, and you know, we got a lot of guys that was nobody wanted. You know, they didn't have any other opportunities or any other chances, and we were able to
Great
take
point.
those guys and mold those guys and see those guys grow, and that's where the joy comes in. And I say all the time, there's 3 stages you go through as a college football coach. The first stage you go through is you just want to be there for your family and have the things that your family needs. You want to support your family.
Right.
That's what you want. That's the first stage. The number 2 step you want to go through, you want to climb the ladder to becoming head coach, which is what we were able to do. But the third step, which is the most important step in my life, I just wanted to make a difference. And when I got to that stage, that's when college football becomes fun. It's not about wrestling. It's not about all these other things. It's about helping people and getting back and developing kids, man. That's what it's all about.
Powerful.
Very powerful.
Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, you know, Coach Broadway, you've been part of this Celebration Bowl experience, being a champion here. What was that like for you personally and for the A&T program?
Well, for the A&T, you know, everybody saw how it exploded after the first Celebration Bowl. I think applications went from 3,000 or 5,000 up to 35,000 over the course of a year, you know, simply because of exposure that we get down here. And I said this earlier, you know, I was fortunate enough to coach in Sugar Bowls, Orange Bowls, Fiesta Bowls, Gator Bowls, Tangerine Bowls, Peach Bowl, and by far, hands down, this is my favorite bowl.
Wow.
And to see this thing continue to grow, man,
Yeah.
I hope this thing continues to grow and accelerate the way it's been in the last 7 years. And if it does that, you know, hands down. And I wouldn't trade my experience of the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, and all those things.
Sure.
But this is a part of us, man.
Yeah. Go ahead. When you take a look at the matchups, this game, Jackson State and North Carolina Central, what are some intangibles that you see with both teams?
Well, you know, I had an opportunity to go to Miami and watch Jackson State the first game of the season when they played FAM, and I saw an outstanding, well-coached football team. I mean, in my eyes now, from the year before and seeing the progress they made from last year to this year, it's the first
different.
It was a
I tried to tell it, folks.
Because I had gone to see FAM played North Carolina the week before, and they gave North Carolina a championship. They didn't have half their guys, and then they go down to Miami, and Jackson, big banks off of them. Wow, this is pretty. But they were doing things that you see. I mean, you saw receivers sitting down in zones, not running to the next zone, and playing open spots. You saw the quarterback getting the ball out of his hand. Just little things that help you win. Defense, you see what was getting out there. I say this, and this is from a fan standpoint, not a coaching standpoint. I watched last year's
game.
Celebration Bowl, and South Carolina State made Jackson put up the red flag now. Those boys beat them up physically. They beat them up. But then watching Jackson this year, that ain't the same team.
I try to tell folks.
Yeah.
See, you get it from the professional.
Yeah, exactly.
So they think we just fanboys.
Yeah.
You get it from a professional in terms of really looking at the difference of the team last year to this year, and you see a different maturation in terms of what they look more physically fit. I want to touch on that a little bit with you having to be in both spaces, MEAC, SWAC, and this is not a one over the other, but if you can kind of give analysis, at least when you were in, what was the difference in terms of maybe with the style of play, physicality you talk about, or was there any really major difference between the two?
Yeah, let me say this. The SWAC, hey, it's a culture down there, man. It's a way of life. I mean, if you're a football guy, hey,
that's it.
It's a great league. But in the MEAC, the football is just as good, but the culture isn't quite the same. It really isn't. It should be because the football is very competitive. MEAC may be a little bit better if you look at the matchups in the Celebration Bowl, you look at the matchups in the MEAC SWAC Challenge, you look at those things, MEAC's probably got an upper hand. But as far as the motion and all that stuff, I like the SWAC. Facilities, the SWAC's ahead, I think. But MEAC plays pretty good football.
Oh, no doubt. I think both of them play really good football. And so I've always said that they're pretty even, so it's good to see somebody that has had that experience provide that same framework. But you're ultimately right when you talk about the culture, and I think that's where you see so much of the fanfare on that side because of the culture, and it gets lost in the fact that you have two quality conferences with quality football program getting it done.
Now that I'm retired, the COVID set us back a little bit and wasn't making good.
Right.
Southern's homecoming.
There you go.
I want to go. There's a lot of different college experiences I would.
Yeah, you want the bucket list, as they would say.
Orange Blossom Classic, of course I've been
That's good.
There's a lot of little matches. And when I saw Coach Gibbs, Albany State and Fort Valley State play in
the Fountain.
Mountain City Class. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing here the next few years.
Okay. Hey, we're gonna have to continue.
I know.
We're gonna have to make that like a spot on show for you. We're gonna bring you on the show and just talk about your travels through these. And talk about
Broadway with Broadway.
On the road, Broadway.
Yeah, on the road with Broadway. Yeah, exactly.
Anything else that you want to share that we didn't get a chance to ask you directly, as you just savor the moment, which rightfully is your time to do that. As I said, retirement is looking good on you, Coach.
I've been very fortunate. I've had an opportunity to have some great players. One thing that I've learned over the years, it's all about the players. It's not about me. And I've never. Oh, I'm sorry. I've always been a player. It's about the players. Now, I lost a whole lot of games, but I hadn't won a whole lot because I tell people all the time, I hadn't made any tackles, I hadn't done any touchdowns, I hadn't done any of that stuff. It's those guys, man. So they deserve the credit. It ain't about me. It's about them. And that's the way I try to approach my football teams. That's how I try to coach my football teams and try to develop those guys that way and teach them that it's about the program, it's about the team. It's not about you, it's not about you, it's not about me. It's about us as a whole being a team.
I've heard that in a way, and just one final question, and I promise I'll let you get out of here.
No, we're good, man.
Okay. With that being said, talk about a little bit of your experiences as you come across the landscape and your former team members come up to you and talk about, hey, Coach, I'm doing this, and they show you family. How does that make you feel?
It's amazing. I had breakfast this morning with a group of guys that I coach at Duke.
Oh, wow.
And half of those stories are lies. Now. They're
Take it better with time.
Half of them are not true. Hey, but you know what? And I'm writing a book, and one of the chapters in there talk about one of the guys asked me, when you know you have a good football team, or the job you've done, if you've been successful. 20 years from now, when I start saying my guys what kind of men they become, what kind of fathers and husbands they are. You know, I used to tell my coaches all the time, you ain't got to tell the guys how you're living. Let them see how you're living, you know. But it's been a joy. It's been a joy. It's been a privilege to have had those experiences.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Any other question you want to do?
I mean, you could probably just sit here and talk with you for hours, but I mean, I remember that first Celebration Bowl, and you made it. You know, talked about football being a simple game. You know,
say it again.
You talked about football being a simple game. You know, it's not like you. I think the quote you said was this: "We making chicken" or something to that effect. But I mean, I was always struck by that because you made it very simple, because you said the first thing we had to do was stop the run.
Right.
And everything becomes relative from there. But I was just struck by how simplistic you made the game, and you talked about, you know, the things that need to be done to not only get the win, but kind of to build that winning culture.
You know, that's interesting because it's always about culture. It's always about standards. You know, I say when I went to North Carolina Central, it's my first college head coaching job.
Right.
And they were telling me about how great they've been in football, you know. And I'm looking, so I go, of course I'm doing homework, so I'm looking, and I've had 2 years out of the last 20 where you've had any kind of success. And I said, I didn't mean anything bad, and I said,
but it just,
the wrong way.
Yeah.
I said, you know what, guys, what you're saying and what actually is two different
That's
things.
not adding
I
up.
said, I want to get this broken. When you win 8, they get your ass fired. That's the standards that we're trying to set. We ain't talking about winning 8 games and considering that a good season. We want to be consistently good 8, 9, 10 games a year, where it's not every once in a while that you're good. And I always preach the true sign of a champion. This is how you win championships.
Yes, sir.
You're able to repeat your performance day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and week out. You can't be good this week, bad next week, bad next week, good. You got to be able to repeat that performance and make that performance better as you go along.
Sure.
And that's a life lesson, because you can take that in the classroom as a professor. I'm going to use that to my students in terms of life in itself. Day in and day out, you become an expert at your craft, and that's what you call becoming a champion in life.
And sometimes in golf, what they call it, muscle memory.
There it is, muscle memory, exactly.
Continue doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's where that chicken thing comes from, you know. We tried to keep things simple. And I always say, you go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, you ain't gonna buy no hamburger. You ain't gonna get no steak. They do chicken.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right. That was it. We do chicken. Exactly.
we got it.
Exactly.
Well, it's been lovely speaking with you, Coach. In seriousness, we like to keep in contact, and as you start to doing your trips, we want to bring you on and tell those
whatever
stories.
I can do, man, to shine a light on black college football, and to be light for anybody or inspiration for anybody, I'm here. All you got to do is reach out.
We'll do.
Dr. Cavil's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. This is with Coach Rod Broadway, and we're going to go to a commercial break. This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab with the legend. I know he want to hear all that, but we're going to put it on the HBCU Sports football legend in so many ways. We appreciate everything you've done. We'll be right back after this break.